morning. Everybody had a hearty meal. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everybody. The morning session saw interesting panel discussion. We also had great demos. The jury had some interesting questions to ask. And now we shall begin with something even more intriguing. This is going to be Ask Me Anything with Mr. Kartik Varma, Managing Director, Techstars. Very good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, Muskan. Very delighted to be here, Natalie and I are, and looking forward to this session.
Greetings, Natalie. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, it's all over to you now.
Great. Well, thank you very much to the India FinTech Forum for organizing such a stellar conference. I'm very happy to hear that you've had 3,000 participants from all over the world. Natalie and I are here to represent Techstars, and we are very delighted to be here and spend some time with you. I'm going to share my screen, and so I can just talk to you a little bit about a few different things that the organizers wanted me to spend time on. I was asked to talk about Techstars. I was asked to talk about fintech trends, and also leave enough time for questions and answers. So hopefully 30 minutes will fly by, but will be interesting enough for you. I run the Techstars ABN AMRO Future of Finance Accelerator in Amsterdam. Techstars is the worldwide network that helps entrepreneurs succeed. And there are 2 or 3 things that you really need to be aware of when it comes to Techstars. One, it's a worldwide network. We have a presence in India as well. Everything that we do is focused on helping entrepreneurs succeed. For us, the entrepreneurs come first, and that's pretty much all that keeps us awake at night. The most important thing of what we've built over the last 14 years of our existence is our network. Center in that network are all our founders. We've had over 5,600 founders go through our program. Currently, we're running about 46 accelerator programs across the world. We have more than 15,000 active investors from across the world who have invested in our companies, and about 8,000 to 9,000 mentors who are a part of the network who are able to help all our companies with all the different things that they need. And finally, we've got over 100 corporate partners that cumulatively control about 5% of global GDP. And I'll share names in just a moment. You'll see some of the network participants over here. On the left side, you'll see some of our portfolio companies. We're very proud to have had a lot of unicorns born out of the Techstars accelerator programs. PillPack is a company that got bought by Amazon about 2 years ago in the pharmacy distribution business. And many of you may have read that Amazon's getting into the pharmacy business, and hopefully PillPack will play a very important part in that. Data Robot is another AI company that just got valued at 3 billion, and numerous other companies over here. SendGrid just got bought by Twilio. Zipline is in the drone business that delivers medical supplies and blood in lots of regions of the world where it's very hard to get to. So we're very proud and happy to be partners with many of these companies. We're also very happy to be partners with lots of different corporate innovators. You'll see Amazon Alexa, with whom we ran a speech recognition accelerator. You've got Western Union in the money transfer business, Stanley Black & Decker in the tools and industrial business, MetLife in the insurance business, and of course, ABN AMRO, with whom we have partnered for our FinTech accelerator in Amsterdam. Here are just some more numbers for you. Our portfolio is worth over $27 billion. And we're the #1 investor by volume as per Crunchbase, and almost 5% of all the Series A fundings in the US are for Techstars companies. So hopefully that gives us really good coverage across the startup ecosystem, and also allows us to have a very strong finger on the pulse of what's going on in different parts of the seed and the Series A market. Let me now tell you a little bit about the program that Natalie and I are running in Amsterdam. Every Techstars program has 10 companies that are selected. We receive lots of applications from around the world, and we're expecting about 600 to 700 applications for our Amsterdam program right now. The whole point of the accelerator program is that it's an intensive boot camp for 3 months or 13 weeks, and it's all about acceleration. We're able to help our companies to achieve in 13 weeks what would typically take them about 2 years to accomplish on their own. How are we able to do this? This is a graphic that just tells you about the programming month to month, which allows us to offer the real boost to the companies. The first month is all about mentor engagement, and we jokingly call this mentor madness. Every company meets over 100 mentors who are domain experts in the particular field. So in the instance of the FinTech Accelerator that I'm running, we've recruited over 100 of Europe's leading FinTech mentors. Many of them are working for large banks, insurance companies, payments processors, law firms, regulators, marketing agencies, consultants. All of them spend time with you and give you feedback on your business, push back on some of your hypotheses, on your assumptions, and help you get a reality check on what's going to work and potentially what's going to scale and succeed really well. The second month of the program is all about doing more faster and focused on executing and developing on the ideas that all the mentors and other members of the ecosystem have given to you. And the final month, while it culminates in something that we call Demo Day, the final month is focused on helping you with communication skills. We feel that every entrepreneur needs to communicate pretty much all of his or her daily existence. You're communicating and selling to your customers, to the regulators, to investors, to employees, to the media. And that's the training that we provide you for the last month. During this time, we expect all the co-founders and the C-level executives to be physically present in the facility that we run the programs in. Obviously, in COVID times, all our programs have gone virtual, but the experience has been the same. In fact, we've been able to get a lot more different mentors from all across the world to come in and help with different aspects of the programming. And during these 90 days, you'd be amazed, what you come in with on day one, ideas that pivot, teams that get reformed, roles that get redefined, engagement with a whole bunch of other startups that are in the program with you. And by the time you've finished the program, it's a completely changed world for you personally as an entrepreneur and professionally for your business as well. Here's what a typical week looks like during the program. There's lots of engagement with mentors, like I said. Every managing director in the program, in this case me for our FinTech program with ABN in Amsterdam, I do one-on-one sessions with each company for over an hour every week, where I will sit down with you and your senior management and go over the week, what happened during that week, KPIs you hit, strategic issues you're getting confronted with, resource constraints that you're facing, and try and find solutions for that. We have lots of town hall and all hands meetings with all the other 10 companies as well in the program. And there's some KPI accountability where you talk about your pluses and minuses of the week and what help you're looking for. We invite a whole bunch of different founders to come and talk to you during the program. So these could be companies that have built $100 or $1 billion businesses and exits. We will invite a lot of entrepreneurs who are currently going through a similar journey to you, and numerous alumni who've been very successful, who can come and just talk to you about problems that you're facing. And hopefully you'll be able to relate to their experience because they were in exactly the same position that you find yourself in. We also host a lot of workshops and masterclasses from some of the world's most foremost experts in their respective areas of domain expertise. We will have law firms come in and talk to you about how to negotiate a term sheet. We will have IP lawyers to come and talk to you about how to protect your IP. People who will talk to you about how to get to product market fit, how to get your go-to-market strategy right, how to think about building a proper workplace culture, how to negotiate with a VC, B2B selling, and numerous other things. Obviously, there's lots of work that happens in the 13 weeks that you spend over here, and it's very common for companies to spend 15 hours at the accelerator facility. And of course, in the last month, there's intense pitch practice that's held so that we can help you get your communication right and hit the right tone and message for the audience that you're trying to reach out to. I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is on what's the Techstars deal. So it's a standard deal that we offer to all the entrepreneurs for all our programs. We take 6% common stock in every company that joins the program, and we offer a $20,000 stipend to companies, which companies are often using for paying for transport or accommodation or travel back and forth for the rest of the team members as well. In addition to that, we offer a $100,000 optional convertible note. I'd say 7 out of our 10 companies in the program, perhaps more in some cases, take that note. It has certain conditions to it, and it converts into equity at the next institutional round of funding that your startup will raise. And finally, we are the only accelerator that has an equity-backed guarantee. If at the end of the 90-day period, the day after demo day, you feel like you did not have a good experience at the accelerator and you're unhappy with it, this is like a money back. You can just ask for your equity back and we will refund that to you, no questions asked. You will have to, of course, explain why the program did not meet your expectations. In addition to these commercial terms, there's a lot of perks and benefits that each Techstars company gets while they're in the program, and then even after the program finishes. You'll see a few companies over here. Chargebee is a top Indian fintech. We've got Cooley, which is a leading law firm that helps with a lot of legal issues. Microsoft for startups, Google for startups, Amazon Web Services, providing a lot of credits for cloud computing. Cumulatively, these perks are valued at over $5 million US, and there's lots of different perks that you are entitled to if you become a part of the Techstars network. So once you have gone through the program, you're a part of Techstars for life. Even after the program finishes, we're going to be engaging with you on a monthly and a quarterly basis. In some cases, the Techstars Venture Fund may also invest in your business. But in all cases, you're invited to our founder conference that's held twice a year, once in the US and once in Europe, where you get a chance to meet with numerous other members of the greater Techstars network. These could be all the Fortune 500 companies who are corporate partners. These could be the 8,000 mentors who work with us, or the hundreds and thousands of VCs who we invite so that we can do some investor matchmaking for you. And there's lots of other sessions that are held over there. We also have an internal LinkedIn kind of network system where you can use that to engage with different parts of the network. Let me now move on to the next topic that I was asked to cover, which is around fintech trends and a few other things. So here's a few things that I put down. I was asked to talk about common fintech trends. And I think the big thing that's happened over the last 5 years is that fintech is no longer a vertical. It's become a horizontal layer that is ubiquitous and almost omnipresent. Things like, just think about what mobile is today. Nobody talks about, oh, I've got a mobile app or it's a vertical layer. Mobile is just ubiquitous and it's just a part of your technology stack completely. And that's the same thing. So whether it's micropayments, whether it's any kind of website you're engaging with, or it's an in-app purchase or something else that you're doing for a travel website or an e-commerce website or a website where you're buying a piece of data, it's all horizontal and embedded into the core service that you are consuming. So that's probably the biggest trend that is visible right now. Where is the investor money flowing? Well, fintech as a term is an umbrella term that covers everything from regular things like payments and lending to wealth management. It's got a lot of capital markets in there as well. And of course, there's other subsectors like insurtech or prop tech or reg tech or legal tech. There's data, there's privacy. In Europe, there's a regulation called GDPR. There's a lot of activity that's happening in that space. Obviously, there's so much going on in the blockchain space as well. And some of the big trends that I wanted to talk to you about today are, clearly there's digitization that's happening as far as financial services are concerned, whether that is digital money or it's digitization of workflows and the operating side of, say, what an insurance company is doing for claims management or what a bank is doing for processing your mortgage. And this is influencing the speed at which customers are able to engage and receive a service. Unfortunately, it's bringing all the financial services into the 21st century. There's no reason why transferring money from one country to another should take 3 days. And there are lots of startups that are working on improving the speed for that. Similarly, there's no reason why a mortgage processing application should take a few weeks. Ultimately, it's data that's being crunched with a little bit of human underwriting in there as well, and a lot of processes that can result in better speed and better efficiency for the customers. And customers are ultimately finding themselves fairly empowered and not having to suffer all the intermediation and the layers of fees that previously they had to incur. A massive trend that's happening right now is the intersection of fintech and sustainability. In fact, that's one of the key areas that we at the ABN AMRO Future of Finance Accelerator are recruiting for. Our belief is that financial services will play a very, very important role in hopefully saving the planet and making it a more enduring planet. So whether it's simple things like only giving loans to real estate developers who are using sustainable construction principles, or buildings that are being built only with circular economy principles, or if it comes to ESG investing, where you're going to invest in companies in the stock market where they have carbon neutral activities and their carbon footprint is hopefully negative. This is becoming a massive trend here in at least the Western world, and hopefully globally as well. And finally, no discussion on fintech can be complete unless one talks about the role that big tech, these are all the big tech companies like an Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, and their ambitions as far as fintech is concerned. Clearly, they don't want to be banks. They don't want to be heavily regulated the way a central bank regulates a payments company or a bank. But their influence on the fintech space is also ubiquitous, and you can feel that whenever you use an app or a service that you engage with them. So where are we with COVID-19? I know so many of us have read so much about what's going on over here and the acceleration for businesses and the digitization that's happened. I would urge all of you to look beyond COVID. Yes, this is a very grave situation that all of us have had to experience, and in some cases very tragic as well. But this is also throwing up a lot of opportunities. Like I said, digitization is a trend that was happening globally even prior to COVID. It was happening in India as well prior to COVID. And there's an opportunity for us to, just like we skipped, the generation that moved directly to mobile phones, there's an opportunity for us to move directly to lots of workflow automation that banks or insurance companies or lenders or other fintech or financial service companies would otherwise have engaged in, to jump automatically to a more digital medium. Clearly, we have all become comfortable. This conference is a virtual one as well today. We've all become comfortable working from home, and hopefully there's lots of different business ideas over here as well on how fintech might play a role in a society and an economy that's very used to functioning remotely. So my prayer for you is, look beyond the next 6 to 12 months. There's tons of opportunities for you to exploit, even in this current fintech environment. Speaking of that, I also wanted to spend a moment or two just talking about trends in India versus fintech trends globally. There's a massive, massive opportunity for almost any business in India, financial services particularly. It's a highly underbanked economy. The savings rate is very high. The percentage of families' balance sheet invested in the stock market, it continues to be very low and has been for a long, long while. Insurance is severely underpenetrated, whether it's life or general insurance. Customer convenience is always a big issue. One only has to look at how poor the interfaces are for different banking service providers in India to know that the customer experience and UI UX can be changed. And of course, data mining is a big opportunity. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of customer data segmentation, etc., that has happened historically in India. For a large country with such geographical and wealth disparity, there's a massive, massive opportunity for data mining as well. So there are tons of opportunities that are domestic in the Indian market, and you don't necessarily need to reach out to foreign investors to tap into these domestic opportunities. If you're an Indian startup, but you're looking to raise money in the US or Europe, I would probably question why you aren't going to a local investor where the market has a lot of capital available today compared to 10 years ago. And the local investors probably understand the local market a lot better. Of course, if you're building a retail product for the global market, the question and pushback that you're going to get is, what's the unique insight that you have sitting in India for a financial services retail business in the Western world? On the enterprise level, it's certainly different. I talked about ChargeBee, for instance, a moment ago, which is a network partner at Techstars. They're an example of a company that they've built a global product outside for companies outside of India, but sitting in India, and hopefully an inspiration to many young fintech businesses as well. Globally as well, there's tons of opportunity for payments or in the capital market software business, to name just a few different areas and subsectors within fintech. But you need to have a big insight into what's wrong with the incumbents, or why you are going to be able to provide a better piece of software or an experience for an enterprise customer compared to what your competition in the Western world might be doing. But the big takeaway for you probably from this slide is that there's a massive opportunity for fintech in India that is still untapped. I think we're, to use a one-day international analogy, we're probably still in the first 2-3 overs of the game of the first innings itself. So before you start thinking about building a business for the rest of the world, try and see what you could do for the Indian customer base first. Finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to go global. A common challenge that many Indian companies have is that they lack a strategy, and they lack the systems and procedures to help them scale and go global. Very often they're just transaction oriented and focused, which is, let me try and do a sale. Let me just try and get a little bit of revenue. That's okay, but you're not going to be able to build a big business that's strategic and enduring in nature just if you get to that. Secondly, you need to have a product that works. So you better have product market fit, and found that in advance of trying to scale up globally, whether that's for customers overseas. They're very demanding, much more so than what the domestic Indian customer base is. And if you're selling to enterprises, in many instances, you're offering mission critical services to them, so your service can't break down. So you really need to be very confident that you have a product that works. You need to have credibility and selling skills, and that's why it's always good to have some mentors who can help you with how a B2B sale takes place. I've talked over here about needing patience. The sales cycles are very long, whether that's in India or overseas. There's a lot of regulatory and compliance layers that you need to go through as well. And so you really need to understand how the sales process work. And finally, you need to have a better understanding of how customer service is also going to work. Doesn't mean the customer service has to be in the same city that you're selling in, but it needs to be able to serve your customers in the same time zone that you're actually operating in. So those are some thoughts I have on going global. And finally, if you're interested in our accelerator program, and I was asked to talk a little bit about that as well, our applications close on December 20th. My colleagues will post in the chat an opportunity for you to book office hours with us. We're doing office hours all day tomorrow, and all our spots were booked up. We're happy to open up more spots for you if you'd like to spend time with us one-on-one. Our program starts on the 29th of March, and our demo day is going to be on the 1st of July. Finally, this is our team. I've got my colleague Natalie, who is on this call as well. I've built a fintech business in India back when it wasn't called fintech 10 years, 12 years ago. It was a company called iTrust that we sold to Carvey. And then I started a digital real estate services business with a classmate of mine from Harvard Business School, Dhruv Agarwala. Business is called Prop Tiger. And we just sold that to a very large Australian real estate business that you may have read about in the last month. That's about all that I wanted to cover. Thank you very much for your time and for listening to us. Very happy to take questions right now, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or other social media, and would be very pleased to spend time with you on a one-on-one basis if you'd like to book office hours with us. So Muskan, let me open it up to you so you can moderate any questions that we can help get answers to.
There are a lot of questions we have in our chat box.
Yeah.
Let's deal with those.
Would you like me to take the questions, or would you like to send them my way?
Anyway, I think it's better if you take them.
Got it. So I'll just go chronologically. There's a question from Rahul on what are the criteria that you ideally look for investments in startups? For us, the most important thing, Rahul, is team. We feel the idea often changes, and during the 90-day program itself, we find, I'd say half of the companies pivot from one idea to another, but the team, its resilience, its hunger, its thirst for knowledge, its ability to learn is the right kind of DNA that stays with you forever. So that's what we're looking for. Faiz has a question on which sectors within fintech is Techstars currently investing in. Faiz, we're investing in all sectors. Probably the only sector that we won't invest in is cryptocurrency, because the regulatory environment for that is still ambiguous. We're going to look at anything from, stuff on the blockchain to climate tech, reg tech, obviously payments, lending, movement of money, capital market software. Those are all areas that we can look at. Harish has a question on, please let me know the whole process of funding. Harish, if you go to our website, techstars.com, you'll find a lot of information over there, and hopefully you'll be able to get more background and details on the process of funding. Sneha has a question on which are the fintech startups where you have invested. There was a company I showed called Chainalysis, which was on the list of some of the successful alumni companies. It's doing a lot of RegTech work on the blockchain. That's an example of one successful company. There's another company called Remitly, which is in the payments business. Those are examples from the US or Europe. We have a lot of companies in India that we've invested in as well. There were two that were in our program that we brought to London last year. There's a company called Inspect Labs, which is in the insurance technology space, helping global insurance companies deal with processing of claims. They've built a library of more than a few million images of car accidents, and they can help insurance claim servicing. Another company is a company called DocSumo, which is focused on helping financial service companies and banks process documents and convert unstructured data into structured data. But we're looking at a whole bunch of candidates from India, and our applications are open right now, and we receive a lot of applications from India. We're also doing another event for Indian FinTech startups that my colleague Natalie can post in the chat. If you're interested in joining us for that, that is on the 7th of December, a few days from now, and we'd welcome you to spend more time with us so you can learn a little bit more about how we think about investing in early stage startups. Kishore, hopefully I've answered your question as well on have we invested in any Indian fintech companies. Mayur has a question on how much equity do we take for the seed investment? Mayur, we charge 6% common equity into every company that we take. We take common equity and it's not preferred because we like to have the same risk exposure as you and your co-founders. We don't want any preferred treatment from you. So we sink or swim with you. And in addition to that, you can take the $100,000 convert as well. Muskan, would you like me to keep going? We've hit the 9:30 mark. I think she's just taking a call, so I'm going to keep going. In COVID, how have your portfolio startups survived during the crash crunch? Well, COVID clearly was unexpected. Some people were short of money. Some people didn't have product market fit. But I'd say most companies overall have survived. Very many of them have creatively started offering services in a COVID-affected world for large enterprises that are working from home. So for instance, both the Indian companies that are referred to, DocSumo and Inspect Labs, are working on workflow automation and using AI to work with data and create decision-making algorithms for companies using them. Perfectly built for a COVID environment. They've done very well. Numerous other companies that are helping large enterprises save costs have also done exceptionally well. If you're in the consumer-facing business and you've had to spend a lot of money for customer acquisition, clearly that has suffered right now because if your business was focused on spending dollars or encouraging customers to spend dollars, then that's probably been a little bit of a challenge for you. What else? Sahil has a question on, do you see blockchain use cases globally that have actually created significant business value? Sahil, enormous. I can only answer this question rapidly because I've probably just got a few seconds remaining, but there's lots of companies doing some very interesting stuff in climate tech using the blockchain, circular economy using the blockchain. These are all businesses that are creating significant business value and will continue to do that. There's another question on, can we get access to Canada and North America through Techstars? Tamanna, we've got 2 programs in Canada, one in Montreal and one in Toronto. And we've got about 30 programs in the US. So yes, you can get enormous amounts of access to North America through Techstars. Muskan, would you like me to keep going on Q&A or should I press pause now?
We do have 5 more minutes left. If you want to continue, or if you want to have a sip of water and then continue, even that would be fine.
I've been speaking at breakneck speed to try and get as many questions as possible, but I'm going to take a sip of water now.
Please do that, yeah. Yeah, I think you have like 1 or 2 questions more left. If you could just ask them in short, yeah.
Sanjeev has a question on what's your advice to new startups setting up businesses in wealth tech? Sanjeev, I have some experience of doing this, having done this at iTrust in India, and the thesis that existed at that time for iTrust in 2006 is still true right now, that Indians are under-invested, don't have enough exposure to assets that will appreciate in value, and are under-levered. So the big challenge is that the cost of customer acquisition is enormously high. And unless you have a way of acquiring customers in bulk, that can be very challenging. We tried to overcome that problem by doing worksite marketing. So we would go to large IT service companies or large employers and set up a little camp over there in partnership with the employer's HR or people ops department. But the monetization angle over here is very challenging, and building the trust in the customer's eyes, I think, continues to be challenging as well. So unless you have a really good ability to serve the customer at a very, very low price in India, the opportunities for wealth-related businesses may still be dominated by the large private banks of some of the Indian banks or some of the larger Western multinational banks that are operating in India. Ashok has a question on your debt collection solution space. Can you participate? Yes, we're open to any business to apply to a Techstars program. We don't have a problem with that. If you're a debt collection solution just for the Indian market, and that may be a little bit challenging, and we would wonder what value we can add to your business with our European pool of mentors and ABN AMRO headquartered in Northwest Europe. But yes, we're open to seeing businesses of all different shapes and kinds. Rishi has a question on what do you see the difference between your program and with ABN AMRO and the F10 FinTech Accelerator program. We've had companies that have done both, and I can't speak on behalf of F10, but I can certainly speak on behalf of the Future of Finance Accelerator. Ours is a very, very intense program for 90 days, and it's focused purely on mentorship. So you're going to meet mentors day in and day out. You'll be spending a lot of time with them. Many of these mentors will be going on client sales calls with you. They'll be opening up their telephone books and directories to offer you a lot of advice and introductions. They will help you with fundraising. They will potentially become angel investors in you as well. And because we have one partner over here, that partner is focused on providing mentors to you from all the different parts of the bank and potentially offering you a pilot or a POC as well, if your product or service is worthy of that. ABN also has the facility to offer you their sandbox services, and within 24 hours, your product or service can go into production mode live within the bank. Hopefully, those are all things that help us stand out compared to other accelerators. Our accelerators also have companies with a higher survival rate. 85% of our portfolio currently exists or has been acquired by other companies, and that's a much better strike rate and batting average than most other accelerators out there. That's about it, Muskan, unless there are other questions that you'd like me to take.
There are a lot of questions coming up actually as you speak, but I think you've answered a lot of them.
Okay. Well, if there are companies that are interested in booking office hours with us, then that link has been posted on the chat facility, and you can certainly book office hours with us. Look up the ABN AMRO Future of Finance Accelerator. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to continue to help all the members of the India FinTech Forum. And we wish you a very safe end of 2020, and hopefully you'll enjoy the remaining day and a half of the conference. And congratulations to everybody at the India FinTech Forum for putting together such a great conference in a remote format. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. It's been such an honor to have you here on this platform. Thank you so very much, Mr. Kartik.